Welcome back to Living Local. Opened to the public on July 4th of 1905, the Rock Island Arsenal Museum is the Army's second oldest museum. In addition to being nationally recognized, the museum hosts a variety of exhibits to engage with the community. Its current exhibit uses storytelling as art, bridging the gap between civilians and veterans by educating the public about military life. Joining us in studio today is Patrick Allie. He is the director of the Rock Island Arsenal Museum. Patrick, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
So before we get to the current exhibit that you guys are showcasing right now, can you tell us a little bit about the history behind the Rock Island Arsenal Museum?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the museum was established on July 4th, 1905. It's the Army's second oldest museum behind West Point, which was established in 1854. The museum's primary mission is to interpret the history of Rock Island Arsenal.
Wonderful. Well, if you have not been out to the museum, you definitely need to. I've been out there before. My stepdad's actually an Army vet, and so it was really cool to take him out there. He could not have enjoyed it more. And you mentioned what the museum's mission is, and I also in the intro mentioned that it's nationally recognized. What is it nationally recognized for?
It is. So in addition to interpreting the history of the arsenal itself, all the work that's happened there, the people that work there, it also is known for its significant firearms collection. So we have 1,224 firearms on display every day. It's probably one of the best typological collections of firearms you'll see in the nation, ranging from firearms used during the American Revolution up through firearms you'll see carried by servicemen and women today.
It is so impressive and quite frankly fascinating. You walk through, you see all these guns all over the place. It is really cool. Definitely time to check that out. Now, in addition to having the permanent exhibits there, you also have these temporary exhibits that come in that people can take advantage of in the public. Now, the one that you have right now is called Experiencing Veterans and Artists Collaboration Art Exhibit. So how would you describe this?
So it's really unique. So it is an art exhibit. It consists of 15 original prints made by artists from across the country, including one that's actually here local in the Quad Cities, which is great. But the exhibit is unique insofar as veterans art exhibits go. So the way the project is organized and the way they create the art pieces is curators will interview veterans, and those interviews will be given over to civilian artists who then create the prints. So it's a little different than a typical veteran art exhibit where the art is created by the veteran. It's more bridging that gap between the civilian and military, so that you have a civilian artist interpreting a military member's either experience when they were serving or experience as a veteran after they served.
Wow, it sounds like just such a very unique exhibit. And you did mention that there are two artworks in the exhibit about the experience of a QCA native, which I think is a really cool factor in all of this. What can you tell us about these?
Yeah, so these two pieces are based on the veteran experience of Bill Albrecht. He was a captain in the Green Berets during the Vietnam War. He's actually the youngest Green Beret captain in Vietnam. He has an incredible story. He's actually written a book about his experience in Vietnam. He's the recipient of several Silver Stars, Purple Hearts, Bronze Stars, so highly decorated Vietnam veteran. Now, the two pieces that are based on his experience were done by one artist from Ohio and then actually an artist from the Quad Cities. His name's Joseph Lappy. He's one of the chairs of the art department at St. Ambrose University, as well as an associate professor. So pretty incredible that we got to both work with a Quad City veteran and a Quad City artist. And so those two pieces, again, are based on the interview that Bill gave to the curators of the exhibit, and then they took that, those two artists took that and created some really unique pieces of art. They're very different, but they were drawn from the same kind of source material, so it's kind of neat to see that.
Definitely, to see the variation there and to see how different artists interpret the same story. So, wow, I love that we have the QC artist and the QC veteran working together, collaborating. Yeah. What a cool thing to see. Now, I understand there's also an upcoming panel discussion with exhibit curators and one of the artists, actually. So what are the details with that? It sounds like a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, so that panel discussion is on January 17th. It's at 5 o'clock. It's at the museum, and it will be a panel discussion that will include the curators, who are the ones that take the interviews, and then the artist featured will be Joseph Lappy, who's our local artist. I've actually met with him once, and he talks about his process working with both Bill's Bill's oral history, but then also working with the EVAC project. So you'll get to hear a really interesting kind of take on how the project works, the genesis of the project, and how they work with veterans and artists.
I love to hear artists break down their process behind their creation, so really awesome opportunity there. So how long will this exhibit be open, and what are the hours at the museum?
Yeah, so the exhibit will be open, it's open now, and it'll be open through February 15th, and then the museum itself is open Tuesday through Saturday from noon to 4.
Fantastic. What do you hope that guests will take away from this temporary exhibit?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, my hopes are the same as the project, and that's to kind of bridge that civilian-military gap by sharing the uniqueness of the military experience, but also the common threads you'll see throughout the military experience. So, you know, that takeaway is what it's like to serve and then what it's like after your service.
Well, I think it's a beautiful thing that you guys are using art as a way to bridge that gap and really engage our community with military life. Patrick, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, you guys, for more information, you can visit arsenalhistoricalsociety.org. We'll also have those details posted on ourquadcities.com. Coming up next on Living Local.